Hey everyone, thank you for stopping by my channel today. I had a thought the other day in the shower as I was planning where I wanted my YouTube channel to go, and I thought about a series kind of over time called Pick a Palette, where I would pick what would typically be an eyeshadow palette, but it doesn't only have to be, where I would pick a palette and create a look that was challenging for me. In that, for example, I always go for the neutral eye or just kind of a warm, just nice, friendly eye. So I decided to start with the Too Faced Chocolate Bonbons palette. I created this particular look the other day, which was a little bit out of my comfort zone, and I used some pops of color from this palette, which I might not normally have chosen. So if you're interested in seeing how I created this eye look with the Chocolate Bonbons palette, then just keep watching. So in the interest of not making this video 25 hours long, I've already taken care of a couple of steps off camera. I've already put on my face, as they say, which is so strange. In I Love Lucy, by the way, there's an episode where Ethel announces before they all go out, she says, well, I'm gonna go put on my face right now. And Fred looks at her and says, you've had another face this whole time? It's mean, but oh so hilarious. Like I said, everything in life goes back to an I Love Lucy episode. So I've already curled my lashes using an oldie but goodie. This is by Maybelline. I've also already primed my eyes. I've used the MAC Paint Pot in Soft Ochre. Soft Ochre. I will list all of the products that I have already used in the description box below. So because we will be doing a very dramatic look using some darker shadows, the first thing I'm gonna do is call on Laura Mercier's translucent loose setting powder. I am going to take some of this loose powder and just kind of load up underneath my eyes, so that way we can dust it off at the end of the look, and in which case dust out any fallout from the darker shadows that might wind up sitting underneath my eye, which would not be where it belongs. That is a scary looking face right there. You know what else is scary right now? The desk in front of me, because there is loose powder everywhere. I cannot deal with loose powder like an adult. So Too Faced Chocolate Bonbons palette. Oh, smells like chocolate. I wonder if anybody's ever licked it. So here it is, and in order to cover up the mirror, I will be showing you all of the heart-shaped shadow pans upside down. So when planning this look, I decided I wanted to challenge myself with a pop of color. And so my challenge shadow in this palette is called Earl Grey, which is annoying because it's not actually gray. It's a really rich green shade. Like I said, it's called Earl Grey. I thought that would be a gray. I don't know, was that too much to assume? So I'm gonna take a fluffy crease brush. This is the Morphe E27. And I'm gonna start with the shade called Almond Truffle, which is just a really pale, up in the corner here, or down in the corner when it's upside down. It's a really pale, neutral kind of tan with a hint of mauve in it. And I'm gonna start by applying that in my crease. Next, I'm going to take a MAC 217 brush, which is a really nice crease brush as well, a little bit denser though. And I'm going to take the shade Mocha, which is right here. It's a pale, but very neutral sort of a brown that I also would like to use to deepen up my crease a little bit. The shade that I started out with, I went a little bit above my crease and a little bit below my crease. But with Mocha, I want to focus on in the crease and just a little bit lower. Since it is a little bit darker, we don't want to go too close and above that lighter shade that we just applied. So now I'm going to take a very small, dense outer corner brush. This is the Morphe M321. The brush itself is really small and dense, so that way I can very precisely apply a very dark color. This one is called Dark Truffle, and it's this shade right here. It is a very, very dark, rich brown, and I'm gonna focus that on the outer corner of my eye. I chose Dark Truffle because I wanted something that was still darker than that Earl Grey green that I'm about to go in with. So I wanted the colors across the lid of my eye to transition from very dark to a little bit dark It's a little bit less dark than that. First, I have to blend, and I'm gonna use my favorite blending brush. This is the Morphe MB23. Love this as a blending brush. I'm gonna go back in with that MAC 217 and the mid-tone brown shade Mocha, and I'm just gonna go back into my crease a little bit just to kind of blend everybody all together again. So because this Earl Grey green shade is so intense, I want to very precisely put it exactly and only where I want to put it. And so I am going to use my absolute favorite brush to do that. This is the MAC 242. Bristles are very dense, stiff without being prickly, so that you can be so precise about where you want to put your color. So again, we're gonna take this Earl Grey green and I'm gonna apply this on my lid up to the outer third where I just put dark truffle. I might be a little frightened right now. Okay, for real, that is so pretty. That shade is gorgeous. Why was I afraid? Without taking any more shadow, I'm gonna go back in with that MAC 217, and which has just a little residual amount of that mocha shade left. I wanna go back in now, and I again wanna try to blend so that the line between the green Earl Grey does not conflict or clash with what I've got going on in my crease. More blending, blend, blend, blend. I'm going to take another MAC 242 because I want to be precise again with my next shadows application. I'm going to go in with this shade called Satin Sheets. It's this shade that's in the bar right here, in the bar shape and not in a heart shape. And this is just kind of a light champagne sort of shade. What I want to do is on the inner corner of my eye, I want to apply this very lightly over the green Earl Grey shade because I just want to lighten up that green a little bit as we approach the inner corner. I don't want to get rid of it, but I do just want to lighten it up a little bit so that it just transitions very gently to the inner corner of my eye. And so the next thing I want to do is I want to highlight my brow bone underneath my brow. And I'm going to use this shade called Divinity. It's this guy right here. It's pretty much a matte, it's like a matte vanilla. It's not really, it's not white, but it's pretty close. It's pretty bright. So I'm going to use a very light hand when I do that. I'm gonna go in one more time with that shade Satin Sheets, which was what I applied on the inner corner. And I'm gonna use a Morphe E35, little tiny brush, and I'm gonna add just a little splash of shimmer right underneath the peak of each brow. Using an e.l.f. concealer brush, which is $1 and probably my most favorite brush and versatile brush ever on the whole planet, I'm going to take that dark truffle, which is the outer corner color we used, and I'm going to use that to line my lower eye. So we are done with the shadow from the Bonbons palette. I'm just gonna go very quickly finish off my eyes by applying some mascara and a little bit of dark eyeliner on the outer corners of my upper eye, just to finish off the look. So last couple of things. First, I'm going to dust away now all of that extra Laura Mercier translucent loose setting powder. We have to come up with a shorter name for that because that is a challenge. I'm going to be taking a Morphe M501 brush, which is my duster. I'm gonna dust underneath my eyes to get rid of any fallout that will be swept away with the translucent loose setting powder. And I have a bonus tip. This shade right here, which is called Satin Sheets. We use that in the inner corner and also right at the peak under the brow. That also happens to work amazingly as a highlighter. It's just a really pretty champagne-y, it's got like a hint of rose to it. So I'm going to now highlight with the Morphe M510 brush. I'm going to apply a little bit of lipstick, and I'm going real light and subtle because this is a dramatic eye for me. So one of my absolute favorite lipsticks of all time is by MAC. It's called Modesty. Don't even need a liner for that bad boy because it's just that easy. Am I allowed to say that I really like the way it came out? I was nervous. This could have been a shit show. I do hope that you guys like it as well, but you know what? Ultimately, I like it. And that is what is so important and key when you create your own look. So I'm gonna insert a little PSA here, public service announcement, and say that if you like what you created, then that's really all that's important, because you need to be comfortable in your own skin, because that is how you will look your most beautiful and your best. And I need to tell my husband to go take me and my new eyes out. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit and I'm gonna attempt, I'm not even gonna try like the sexy look. I'm basically just gonna close my eyes so that you can see what the final product looks like. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. What palette would you like me to try next in my Pick a Palette series? Please leave me a suggestion or a comment down below. If you like this video and would like to see more like it, then please give it a thumbs up as well. I am on Instagram and Twitter, so if you have a chance to check me out over there, that would be great. Thank you again so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of the day, and in the meantime, thanks.
So, instead, to counteract, by the way, I've got my eyeshadow brushes in one of my most favorite mugs ever. It says, keep calm and buy a new handbag. That is the solution to anything and everything. Thank you so I have shadow all over my hands right now. I'm trying to hold the palette without showing the mirror. I am on Instagram and Twitter, so I have a minute.